Hey guys, how's it going? CoreData here. Welcome back to another video. Today we're playing some more cards, and we're taking a look at one of the new decks from the new expansion, which is Japan ANZAC Control. So this is the list. This is Japan ANZAC Control, and while Japan ANZAC is very popular on ladder at the moment, this version of the deck is much slower in comparison to the Japan ANZAC Aggro / burn decks that are running around at the moment. We are much more focused on being a hard control deck and then transitioning into a more burn focused game plan as a means of closing games out. This deck is super interesting. Actually got a ton of support from the new set. Japan Control it's been a deck that's struggled with value in the past. However, access to forecast kind of changes that, so the deck has become a lot more viable and a lot more appealing to play, as well as receiving a number of interesting pieces from rotation as well that aid in the control game plan. I of course have to mention that Interdiction recently showcased a Japan ANZAC control deck over on their channel. A link to that will be in the description. Their build is quite different to mine, however. They are more focused on some of the more mid-range and tempo aspects of the Japan ANZAC package with the forecast stuff. They're playing things like 2-second Pioneers, for example, in a more controlling shell, whereas we're much more of a hard control deck. So again, we are a control deck and we are focused on the new forecast package that Japan received. So we are of course playing 3 copies of the new Yokosuka. This thing is absolutely nuts. A 2-cost 1-up 2/2 Blitz aircraft with Intel 2 deployment forecast and draw a card if you have 0 credits. This basically means that if this is the last thing you do in your turn, if you have no credits left, you will draw a card. So if you play this, for example, on curve on turn 2, this will forecast and draw a card for you. And if it's played slightly off curve, you can make use of the Blitz, which is very nice. Just one of the best cards Japan received, one of the best cards of the set. I'm sure everyone is very familiar with this card. It is everywhere on ladder at the moment. We're also playing 3 copies of Coast Watchers. This is just another cheap forecast that makes our forecast weathers a little bit cheaper on the backswing. Very good versus aggro. On turn 2, we will generally try and develop a Coast Watchers versus Jagro and go for the 4 credit deal 3, deal 2, deal 1 storm. Just because it's very efficient at blowing up aggro boards. So yeah, Coast Watchers, a ton of value, and it also makes our late game plans a little bit easier of transitioning into like Cyclone Burn. Yeah, just fantastic unit overall. Very good for this deck. Very good at generating value. And we are running 4 copies of Task Force 44. Again, one of the best cards, if not the best card in ANZAC at the moment. Just forecast that also comes with burn. Just an insane piece of burn and removal in the early game. We're usually happy enough to point this at things like an early Yokosuka out of the opponent, while also generating a little bit of value with the forecast. And then in the late game, we're looking to essentially bolt our opponent with these, because these represent a lot of damage overall. We're also running the new Kawanishi as the top end of the forecast package. This is just a very powerful value unit. This hits the board, draws you a card, and forecasts. So yeah, this being a draw engine for the deck is nice, because we're not playing we're not playing an aggressive game plan, so we're not playing expansion. So card draw is not something we have easy access to in this deck. Kawanishi really does help that, because we have a lot of forecast in the deck, so we're able to very quickly cycle our forecasts and draw cards at the same time. Yeah, Kawanishi, just an insane value unit. We are also running ANZAC Spirit as our top end for the ANZAC stuff. It's quite expensive for what it does, but it does 3 things that this deck really wants. Having access to an extra sweeper with all the Jagro in the format is very good. There is some like US ANZAC Ramp in the format as well that are running like 1 to 2 copies of Yorktown, so this is very good at cleaning up Yorktown boards. It draws us cards and ramps us, which is also very nice. Setting us from 8 credits to 10 credits is very good, because it immediately enables to the last man on the following turn if our opponent decides to redevelop the board. And the fact that this can bring us from 12 credits to 14 credits in the late game, also very nice for enabling some more combo plays. As for the rest of the deck, we're playing a bunch of value and just solid Japanese units. Type 94 TK is just a decent piece of removal, as well as a cheap body versus aggro. Desperate Measures, just a very cheap sweeper versus aggro, and a little bit of burn in the late game. Also combos with the 6 credit Monsoon, that sets everything to a 2/2, which is also somewhat relevant to remember. 10th Recon, just a phenomenal unit overall. Just being able to shuffle away a card we don't need, as well as being a very good anti-aggro body is nice. Crewmate is actually very good in the current format. With all of the aggro and burn going around, Crewmate makes a very difficult roadblock for your opponent in the early game. Basically forces your opponent to play suboptimally to try and get around it. Highly recommend testing Crewmate. It's been very good in this deck overall. Raining Blade, obviously just a staple Japan elite, just destroys a thing and has blitz, very very nice, and is part of our win condition, part of the burn game plan, as well as just being a decent body, again, versus aggro decks being able to ping things off while also dealing burn damage to the HQ is very, very good. Imperial Research is one of the big value bombs that I got access to from the new expansion. Every option here is pretty solid except for Imperial Weapon number 2. I think I've only ever taken this once versus exactly US ANZAC Ramp, where I knew I had time to draw the Kikas and OTK. Primarily, the win condition of the deck is going to be 70-75 aluminium. The zeros it generates are very, very powerful, and this also enables us to forecast for sun in the late game if we have access to aluminium, because all of the 2 credit sun options are very, very powerful with the free zeros. The 4 credit give your units +2 attack and blitz is also insanely powerful with the zeros, and the 6 credit +3/+3 also very good in the late game. So we do, while we will pretty much always forecast storm or rain, we will sometimes forecast sun when we have access to aluminium in hand, or we have already cracked the aluminium, for example. We're also running 3 copies of the special unit, another card from the new set, essentially a extended barrage mixed with a attack in the colonies. 3 credits, deal 5 is already very, very good rate. It's the fact that it deals 5 to any unit, whereas something like hammer is hammer can only hit ground units, for example, and 5 damage is enough to remove most of the key units in the format at the moment, outside of things like maybe Tropic Lightning and Super Fortress, but you can still combo these to clear those regardless. Yeah, the fact that this is just a slightly more expensive extended barrage that also potentially heals you is very, very good. Again, with all the burn ring around it, very, very relevant at the moment. 77 is one of the more mid-range units we're running, but it is very, very good versus aggro. Being able to trade profitably as well as generate guards, very, very good. Just a solid value unit overall. Bombing Raid is one of the cards that got returned in rotation. Very, very good. This can go face, so this is a 4 credit deal 3 to the HQ and can deal 2 to adjacent targets. It is very similar to the Aerosani that the Soviet research gives on tier 1, which is one of the best options from the Soviet research. So yeah, Bombing Raid, very, very good versus aggro. Just 4 credits basically empty the front line of aggro units, and in the late game this can go face, which is very, very relevant. 4 copies of Island Defense. This is one of the cards that came back in rotation as well as being buffed. I do believe this now gives 8 HQ instead of 6, I think was the previous number. Yeah, it's a slightly worse call to the colonies out of France, but it is still so unbelievably powerful to have main nation healing in Japan. With the sheer amount of burn in the format, this is an incredibly important card in the deck. We will frequently be around 10 HQ, so getting the card draw off this is not that difficult, and the fact that this gives us an extra 32 points of healing in deck, as well as the potential healing off of the special unit, means we have a lot of health versus the aggro and burn side of the metagame. So yeah, very, very important card in the current metagame. I would not recommend trimming. Peggy has been solid in the format overall. A lot of key units have 3 or less attacks, so this is just a decent piece of removal, as well as leaving behind a 3/3 bomber body. Bonsai, again, part of the anti-aggro package we're running. Also fairly good versus decks like Tokens, which aren't that popular at the moment because of the burn, but I am assuming that a lot of the burn is going to be toned back in the balance patch whenever that comes out. So Bonsai is probably going to pick up in value as the format develops. Ite, again, another one of the mid-range options of the deck, one of our finishers. Because we're looking to transition into a burn plan, just having a big blitz fighter is a solid option, and this also burns and heals on destruction, so it is pretty solid in that regard as well. Home Defense is a card that should not be in the deck, but I can't bring myself to cut it because I just love playing Home Defense. It did get buffed. The Chinu is now a 5/5 instead of a 4/5, so that is somewhat relevant versus certain decks, but overall probably should not be in the deck. Again, I just really like playing Home Defense. This should probably be something like a Dina, realistically, but I just can't bring myself to cut it. And finally, we are playing To the Last Man, just as our big late game reset. Again, in game states where we have access to aluminium, To the Last Man is very, very powerful, particularly if we have forecasted sun, because if, for example, you can forecast the 2 credit sun condition that when you deploy units to deal their attack in damage to a random enemy. So in the super late game versus like a control deck, we can just go To the Last Man, 2 credit heat wave, play the 3 zeros and just deal 15 burn damage directly to the HQ. Very, very potent in specific matchups. I don't think I would recommend cutting this, despite the fact that burn is prominent at the moment. There are still enough unit-based decks that this is relevant. As for the forecast plan for the deck, we are primarily looking to forecast Storm versus aggro decks. Early game Storms are very, very good. The Dispute 3 is like fine. The deal 5 to random enemy is very, very good. And the 4 credit deal 3, deal 2, deal 1 is very, very good versus early aggro boards, particularly off of a Coast Watchers on turn 3. And then obviously the late game cyclones are all insane. The light bomb is incredibly potent. The 5 damage is also like one of the main burn win conditions for the deck. The deal 2 to all enemies is fine. We'll take it if we need it. Again, versus decks like Jaggro, for example, it's very, very good, but it's the least impactful of the 6 credit options. Versus mid-range control, we are looking to forecast rain on occasion, primarily for card draw in the form of the 4 credit torrential rain, as well as the 6 credit monsoon. Because we don't have that much card draw naturally in the deck, our monsoons will usually force our opponents to discard while also clearing the board, at least in control mirrors, not necessarily versus aggro. And again, like I mentioned, Sun is a consideration when we have access to aluminium off of the Imperial Research. As for cards you could be running in the deck, like I said, Home Defense could probably be taken out and replaced with something like Dina. You could be playing 1 or 2 extra 1-drops to make the Dina a little bit better. I have seen a number of control decks running Dingo nowadays as well. It is just a very, very good 1-drop. 17 Brigade, obviously very, very powerful as well, but we just don't have enough unit decks in the format for me to justify this right now. Again, if the burn gets toned down, then maybe unit decks become a little bit more popular and 17th Brigade becomes a staple. This is an insane card, by the way. This is like an absurdly powerful card. I just couldn't find space for it in the current format. It just didn't make too much sense to run. And Enzans also is a fine card to run if you don't have access to something like, say, ANZAC Spirit. Just a little bit of health gain and a little bit of ramp is nice to have access to. As for cards on the Japanese front, I don't think there's too many cards in here that I would be running over what I'm already running. Like I said, Dina is like the main thing I think that you should be running. Commit the Reserves is fine. Again, the Commit's better versus mid-range and control decks, of which there's not too many of in the current format, so Commit doesn't have that much value at the moment. I will say Overpower is not bad in the current format. I just didn't have space for it personally, but this does hit a number of things in the format as well currently. But aside from that, I don't think there is much else I would be running that I'm not already running. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy the video. The deck is a ton of fun to play. Highly recommend testing it out. It is very, very difficult to pilot in certain matchups, but very, very rewarding when piloted correctly. But yeah, in terms of matchups, it is pretty good into pretty much everything in the metagame currently. It can struggle versus specifically US ANZAC Ramp just because they have a lot of value. But with clever positioning in the early game and basically going for burn early because US ANZAC doesn't have that much healing, you are able to put them in a position where you can burn them out very, very quickly. So that is essentially what you're aiming to do versus ramp. As for like the burn aggro decks, this deck is incredibly favored, but you can still lose. There is a match in this video that I do lose to the ANZAC aggro deck, but you'll see what happens in that game. But again, like I said, deck is a ton of fun. Highly recommend testing it out. Again, there'll be a link in the description to Interdiction's video on Japan ANZAC Control. Like I said, his build differs quite significantly from mine, but it's still worth checking out. So yeah, remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and on to some games. Up against the US. It's probably going to be, what, US ANZAC Ramp, I think is the most popular US deck at the moment. I think we keep this. The Ite is tempting. But I think it's going to be too slow. This is solid. Go turn 2. I think we just go turn 2 Yokosuka. Cycle it off, get a weather. Oh, it's frontline. Okay. I still think Yokosuka is the play just to draw and get the weather. Sherman and Calliope. Yes, this is a pretty old school frontline. I think we just go Gale. This is really good, actually. I'll take this. They can't Calliope next turn. They push this. Find task force. Task force is solid. I think just go coast watchers though. Forecast for storm again. I don't think there's going to be much I need out of rain this game. So it's probably just going to go storm for removal. Second tropical is really, really good. Thunderstorm also pretty solid. Because next turn they're probably just going to play Calliope, right? I think I just take the second tropical. And ship this face. There's the Calliope. Task force into another tropical storm. I'll see what happens with this. Alright, it's fine. They have the Sherman here to draw 2. Okay, they poke, that's fine. Sky Train. Makes an Alabama. Peggy. Peggy's a good hit here, actually. I can Peggy the Sky Train. They still have access to Sherman. But the Tropical Storm is looking better if they Sherman here. So just hit the Sherman, or like remove the Alabama and see where the pings land. M4A2. Interesting. Raiding Brigade. I think I do go Recon here. I can Recon remove this. I can then Z-Special one of these. I could also just go for 77th. Bump. Make a guard. Is that good? I think Recon is probably better. I can send back the island defense, I think, for now. Just to play around, I want to try and clear these because I'm very much aware that they could be playing the Sherman buffing guy. So I didn't want to be facing out a pair of 6/6s this turn. Red Devils is fine. They push it. I can Raiding Brigade that now. Can also go here. Trade and task force. Grab another Gale. This might be good for me. You guys hear my cat in the background. I'll try it. I'm most likely going to be lower on cards than my opponent. Sorry, she's playing with something in the background. Make sure she's not playing with something she's not meant to be playing with. What have you got? Oh, that's fine. Okay. It's one of her toys. I had to make sure. So that's probably going to be We Can Do It or DFA. Second Calliope. Which is fine. So I can just go Trop Storm here on this. Because I'm expecting We Can Do It. Actually, I don't even need to. I can just go Raiding Brigade this. And then just Trop Storm here. Could also just jam the Coast Watchers into the front line. And now I have two active task force, so that's 6 damage, so I just need to forecast for a little bit of burn. Airborne. Like, the Coast Watchers just being a roadblock in the front line is German ally. I think we knew that. No, we hadn't seen any German ally, but we assumed, right? So we can go task force. Go for Gale. Go for this one. Go task force. Go for Gale. Sure. Go Trop. So this draws me like an extra 2 cards. Kurume. Yeah, so we have like a 2-turn lethal here, and I don't think they have any healing unless they're playing Overcast. Big Panzer, sure. He's able to take the front line now. I mean, ANZAC Spear is just kind of crazy on this board. Yeah, we'll just go ANZAC Spirit here, I think. To a second ANZAC Spirit and Coast Watchers. I will develop the Coast Watchers. Once again, go for Gale. Take the Thunderstorm here. Like I have lethal next turn with ANZAC plus Tropical Storm. M3 Lee. Okay, well they're just dead to the Trop Storm now, so from the bond. They have like suppression, I think. Oh, Wolfpack. Here's my Trop Storm. Doesn't matter, I have a second one. Okay. Yeah, just showcases how good like going for the storm stuff is versus like slightly more tempo based decks. If this was like a slower deck, we'd probably be looking more at rain, and then there was certainly situations that game where rain probably would have been fine. Just looking for like the draw torrential rain or the monsoon, but yeah, for the most part, the storm just very, very good against like aggro and like tempo stuff. Up against Japan. I'm gonna keep the Island Defense because this is probably Japan ANZAC, either burn or like straight aggro. So Island Defense is probably gonna be very, very important in the mid game. Yokosuka on 2 is obviously insane. Kawanishi also very solid in the mid game. I think I'm gonna keep it. Z Special is also just solid removal. I could pitch it, but I will most likely be playing both of these ahead of Z Special at some point. So I think this is fine. The Kawanishi is like going to be the most questionable keep here, but I think I just keep it because it's a new card. That is the logic here. Dingo, yeah. So Japan ANZAC. Let's see what their game plan here is with the Yokosuka. Coast Watcher is also really tempting to play out early because I can just go for a 3-cred Storm. But I will just go for Yokosuka here. Task Force. Go Gale. Tropical Storm is not bad. Thunderstorm is also pretty good here. Cyclone, I don't know how much board presence my opponent is going to be generating, so Cyclone probably not as important. Tropical Storm, the Tropical Storm is good because they will probably have as many cards in hand as me, if not more. Like they'll be stocking up on burn storms, and I can just shuffle them away. But I do think the interaction is probably better here. Double Sunrise. Task Force, I will just go Coast Watchers. I could go Mist and aim for the discard. Potentially. Didn't actually mean to click there, but yeah, I'll take the Monsoon here. Let me just go Thunderstorm to remove this. I didn't I didn't actually want to click Rain there. I just I just ended up doing it by mistake, so it's fine. Into Sasebo, that got hit by the double Sunrise. Home Defense and Monsoon. So we hit here. I could just Z this now. Second Dingo. Into Yokosuka. They go for Storm. Okay, so they know I have the Monsoon in hand now. They didn't swing with the Dingo, did they? They did not. They pushed it but didn't swing. Let's see. So I can go for Task Force to remove this trade here. Go for Gale. Take the big Cyclone. Push Coast Watchers into the front line. It's a 6 health body they have to clear. Raiding Brigade. That will do it. Kurume. Let's trade and go Kurume. I'm not worried about long game because I think I can win the long game. Recon, sure. Doesn't shuffle back anything I'm aware of. Into Pioneers. Type 93. Cyclone isn't bad. I could just Cyclone. I know it seems like a bit of a low impact turn, but I think getting this Pioneers low is correct. Blue Sky. Forecasting Sun is very interesting here. To expansion. I've actually been seeing a lot less expansion recently. People have been playing a lot more Deadly Duty. Task Force. I can Task Force this. I would like to Z, but the island defense is kind of stopping me here. Do I even care? I don't think I even care about the health gain, really. Well, Task Force first. Go for Gale. Take the big Cyclone, and I'll just Z this. Because if I can keep myself around 10 HP, these island defenses become very, very powerful. into Cyclone. To type 93. So yeah, so now we can just cycle off the silent defense here. Go for N. I know they have a sun in hand. I do not know how many storms they have. I think that was their only storm. They can hit me for 8. Which is fine. Because I can also just go for Ite here. Can also home defense. Home defense doesn't really do much for me though. Go home defense. Go Coast Watchers. I can go for Mist here. Healing would be nice. I could also try and find Suppress. Pin, potentially, and then I'll just cycle the Highland Defense. The hope is that they're forced to go through the Chinu. Okay, they have the second Type 94. So this does go through it. Task Force, yeah. Into Sun. Okay, so I'm taking 11 down to 2. I can go Torrential here. Or I can go Type. No, I need to go Torrential, I think. Like, the odds of them having burn is so high. I know this looks strange, but I think it's right. I'm dead to a second Ite. No, our Task Force, yeah, that also does it. Unfortunate. Yeah, them having the second Type 94 just kind of undid me. Also, forecasting rain in the middle of the game, like, accidentally, also did not help. Having that Monsoon in hand that I couldn't play was not ideal. Up against US once again. We'll keep Task Force. I will pitch this back. It's probably going to be like US ANZAC Ramp. Realistically. So I'll keep this. Go turn 1 Type 94. Yeah, so it's most likely not Frontline. I think I will Task Force, because these are going to be sitting in my hand for a little while. I could forecast rain versus Ramp, because 6 credit Monsoon is so powerful in the the mid to late game. But I think I might just wait until later. I think I'm just going to go with the burn plan early. Take the 4 credit 1. 4 credit 1's really, really powerful. They play a thing. I can Z it. Yeah, they just Ramp. Another Task Force. We'll just Task Force face again. Go for Gale. Cyclone, big Cyclone's tempting. Because in the late game versus most of the ramp threats, this just removes them. But this is burn. Take the burn again. Because if they just spend this turn ramping again, I just burn them for 6. with the tropical storm. Coast Watchers, sure. They also forecast for storm. Double Coast Watchers. Okay, that is potentially problematic. I'm just going to Trop Storm, though. So I did forecast 2 storms. The goal right now is to get them in range of Anne. that's how I'm. That's the current game plan. Retreat and destroy, sure. The recycle a Coast Watcher here. Go for Enzans. To task force. I'll go 10th. I'll cycle off this. Find my own Coast Watchers here. I'll push this forward. I will... Will I go Coast Watchers? I think I will. Go Storm. Big Cyclone's good. Yeah, like I said, the game plan is currently just get them in range of Anne. So we know they have Ohio to remove, like, the recon, which is fine. They can push... Oh, yes, it's total of 6, yes. I mean, that's also fine. Just means that my turn is going to be Task Force Storm hit. Fire the Trop Storm, they go down to 8. This goes down to 6. Am I better off just going Cyclone here? Cyclone also drops them to 6, right? Yeah, Cyclone is the correct play this turn, because if they don't have Overcast in hand, they... Because this sets them to 6, and then I can just Trop Storm Anne. So I think this is correct. Now, unless they've forecasted healing, I didn't check. No, they've gone for Gale every time. Yeah, so if they don't have healing here, so if they don't have exactly like Overcast. They all hit face. That's about right. Into Yorktown. That's fine. Doesn't put anything in the back line. So Anne is lethal here. Task Force off the top as well. Yeah. I know this is a control deck, and the last like 2 to 3 games have been just burn. But trust me, this deck does play like a control deck most of the time. It's just we have been in matchups where the burn plan has been the correct move. Oh man. Up against Japan. So again, most likely to be like Japan ANZAC. I will pitch Island Defense because I'm looking for something cheaper. Keep Rainbreak, I'll drop this. Coast Watchers is nice. Kurume is nice. We'll turn 2 Kurume. Turn 3 Coast Watchers, most likely. Okay. It's looking like Jagro. Yokosuka is not bad, but I think the Kurume is more annoying for the opponent. I'm not getting the draw of Yokosuka this way, but I think it's fine. I'm probably just going to go for Coast Watchers next turn anyway. They go for expansion. they got the second expansion. They don't. Type 90, Type 93. Sure. It's very tempting just to Radiant Brigade this. I could also just ping it off with Task Force. I could also just wait and just go Coast Watchers this turn. Go for Gale. These are all good options. Retreat and Destroy is not bad. I think deal 5 is probably the best option here. 6 cost Cyclone is obviously crazy, but I'm not firing that for another 2 turns. I think I'd rather take the cheap interaction here. Because if they, like, flood the board this turn to take out the Kurume, that's fine. Signal Regiment. That is our Radiant Brigade target. 100%. They go for Storm. So I will Radiant Brigade here. I will go Thunderstorm. Okay, that's not bad. Just want to maintain my board, essentially. They've got Anne. Anne can't hit the Kurume. ANZAC Spirit will be pretty relevant in a turn or two. I will Task Force this. Hi. Go for Gale. I will take the Damage Cyclone here. This is, I think, very, very good versus... Because this looks like it's more traditional Jagro. Particularly with, like, the Signal Regiment. I could go Yokosuka here. And just ping off the Type 93. Again, I'm not drawing the card, which is unfortunate, but it's fine, I think. Mixed Regiment. It's Shuffle? Question mark? I'm going to take Tropical Storm, actually. Like, unironically, because they have so many more cards than I do. I think Trop Storm is, like, pretty good. But also Mixed Regiment, hello? That's wild. Are they actually, like, French ally? Maybe not. Z Special is solid. Push this. I can Task Force something. I can Kurume. Like I can Task Force and trade here. Just to remove the burn. That's what, 3 credits. I have 3 left. I can play the Kurume and push this. Go Task Force. Go for Gale again. Go for the cheap Thunderstorm. Trade, push, Kurume. The Kurumes are just making it very awkward for the opponent. Yokosuka, sure. Type 93, yep. Oh, the Yokosuka's got a new attack sound. That's the first time I've heard it. Bombing Raid is so good here. Bombing Raid is insane in this board. Thunderstorm to remove that. ANZAC Spirit now clears an aggro board if they, like, dump hand here. Also accelerates me to 10 and gives me a live Z special in the following turn, which is nice. Dingo. Okay, so we have... So it is ANZAC ally. Second dingo. Show me a third dingo. Give me Dingotron. I will just spirit this, get rid of these. Find some more gas. Again, because this does give me an active Z special, which is nice. Third Yokosuka. Into expansion. Into type 94. Into shifting doctrine. Doctrine does not hit the attack, which is good to know. Into Kyofu. So they have 2 Mikuras now. Okay. They're just cycling out the Mikuras. So... like, I could just go for Z special here. I'm gonna send back the Type 94, I think. Everything else in my hand is really good. We'll trade with this. Go Yokosuka. So they've got duty bound as well. Go for Gale. We'll take this one. We'll Z special here. Gonna Tropical Storm. I know I get rid of some of my weathers here, but it's fine because I'm drawing an extra 3. And it disrupts the opponent's hand a little bit as well, which is nice. And next turn I'll be drawing and getting my forecast card from last turn. Double Sunrise. Plus the third Dingo. They did have Dingotron. Oh no, I probably just drew them into it. Do another Type 94. Into Mikora. Into Sudden Strike. Oh, double Mikora. Oh, they're just playing Mikora naturally in their deck. Okay, good to know. I mean, I could just go for Big Cyclone here. It does remove everything except the Dingo. I know I lose my board doing this as well, but I don't think I care. Go Coast Watchers. Go for Gale. We take Big Cyclone. I will go for Task Force to remove this. Go for Gale. Take Big Cyclone. Then go Yokosuka. Cycle a card. They have all the duty bounds in the world. Go for Big Cyclone. Alright, so their hand is Mikora, duty bound, surprise attack. +1 random card. Sabe is the random card here. Which is fine. That gets hit by one of the Cyclones that I have gone for. 1094, Cyclone, Cyclone, Cyclone. We have so many Cyclones, holy. Go for Gale. Deal 5 is also fine. Blow this up. Yeah, Japan ANZAC Shuffle is an interesting interesting idea. Not really sure what the ANZAC stuff is doing aside from like playing Dingo and Sunrise for like the aggro stuff. So yeah, just a bit odd. Once more up against Japan. Japan very much the nation of the expansion. Japan ANZAC, very, very popular right now. I will maybe keep the Bonsai. No, I'll ditch Bonsai. If this is pure burn, the Bonsai is not going to matter that much. As it stands right now, we have an active task force. We have Coast Watchers on 2. Alright, looks like it's just kind of a slightly more traditional variant. I will go Coast Watchers, I will forecast Gale, and I'm going to look for a decent forecast one. Do not find it. Cyclone's probably not bad, though. Cheap Thunderstorm is also really tempting to go for. I'll just take the big Cyclone. I'll set up for later. It's gonna have some value at some point this game. The opponent's probably gonna go for like double expansion here. As is the Jagro way. Yokosuka, sure. Goes for rain. Interesting. Likely looking for like the discard. Desperate Measures, it's pretty solid here. I don't think I'm going to go for Desperate Measures, but I could. Task Force the aircraft, I think. Yeah, take Tropical Storm. It's really, really good versus Jagro boards. So I know they've taken Monsoon. Yeah, it's a case of push the 3-2 to the front line. I go for the 4, or the 3 credit rather. A thing. Yeah, because I can Trop Storm this, and if it hits either of these, I'm happy. Jam the Coast Watchers into the front line. Just because it's a lot of health to remove. Second Tide 94 off the top. So that does give him an out to the Coast Watchers here. Oh wow, okay. This is a very good Desperate Measures. Let's go Desperate Measures here. Play this. I am going to shuffle back Research, which might look insane, but trust. Because I'm fully expecting to get like Monsooned next turn. Shibata. Into Shinano. Hits my board, that's fine. This is a fine Peggy, I think. Task Force. Deals 3 face. To Storm. Yeah, because I know they have a rain in hand, I just don't know what it is. To Yokosuka. Yokosuka for Storm as well. They set me to 10. We find a Yokosuka. Go here, we'll go Kurume. Play the Yokosuka. Okay, so it's Torrential. That's fine. So the hand is Torrential and double surprise attack. I'm gonna go Mist actually here. And we will take the Distribute 6. Just a bit of health gain is solid. I know they have 2 potential burn cards here, so I'm expecting to see like Cyclone Cyclone. Trop Storm. Sure. Into surprise attack to remove the Yokosuka. That gives them a clear path with the An. Ooh, Island Defense off the top's huge. Massive draw. And then we'll go for Deluge. Back up to 18. They drop the An. Get him for 4. Into Yokosuka. This is now a fine ANZAC Spirit, I think. They go for Rain. They're looking for Monsoon now. To Expansion. Yeah, okay. They didn't get the Monsoon, is what I'm assuming to say they scooped there. Yeah, this deck is pretty good versus like the aggro stuff, and it's fine to burn because of island defense. I think we just got really unlucky in the other Japan ANZAC game, but it is what it is. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, this deck is a ton of fun to play. Highly recommend testing it out. It is very much favored into a lot of the spread, or like a lot of the meta spread at the moment. Again, US ANZAC is one of the worst matchups you can queue into, at least in my experience, but it's still like, it's still not necessarily unfavored. It can just be a bit tricky to navigate correctly. But aside from that, that's pretty much it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, like I said previously, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.